What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Three View. Today, we are joined by New Hampshire Junior Mountain Kings head coach Clint Cassavaugh. How's your summer been going?
It's been going well. Been going well. Busy as always. Seeing a lot of rinks and seeing a lot of hockey as we all do in this business.
So, we'll just kind of jump right on into things. So, you guys just wrapped up your second season in the NA3, making it back to the postseason yet again. How would you describe the growth of your program over the course of the first two seasons?
I think the big thing is now we're established. We've had 2 years worth of getting into the playoffs, recruiting the players, having our call ups to the NAHL games, getting our players called up to the NAHL games, and getting practice time with the NAHL team. I think those are really things that make it a lot easier now that we've kind of established what we are and that we develop players and we move them on to the next level.
And obviously, every group is different year to year. What do you think was your biggest takeaway from the 2024-25 season, whether that was on the ice, in the locker room, anything like that?
I think the biggest thing that I learned is, I thought I spent a lot of times with systems, but I don't think that we spent enough time. So I think the big thing with us this year, we're going to be focusing more on systems and getting it done on the system end than anything else.
And you kind of touched on your NA call-ups a little bit earlier, but we'll talk about Aiden Palmer, who has played a huge role for your team. He got called up to the NA about 5 times last season. What does that say about your development process that you guys have in place, and how rewarding is it for you to see a player that's been in your program for so long earn that call-up?
I think it just goes to show you that, Aiden did have that breakout season. And I think that it shows that if you show up every day and you put the work in on and off the ice and you believe in what we do and our culture, that'll get you the call ups. And it's really good to see when you have that success. He had a really great year last year and looking for really good things moving forward for him coming up to this season.
And he was a huge part of your locker room. What kind of presence did he bring to the room on a day-to-day basis that helped you guys be so successful?
He's Aiden's a little bit different. He's the silent assassin. He's the quiet one. He's more of a leader by example than he is in the locker room doing the rah stuff. We talk a lot about the mindset that you have to play at a high level of hockey, whether it be tier two, whether it be the college level. So he really bought into that power of one more. We talk a lot about the one more shot, one more sprint, one more rep in the gym. And he really buys into that. And I think that's one thing that he was a leader of doing that, showing everybody doing that stuff.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And when we look at the Mountain Kings organization, you guys obviously have the 3HL team, the NA team, and your academy team. And you guys also hosted not only a tier event this season, but an NA Combine as well, clearly investing in the ladder of development. How does that structure benefit your NA 3HL players specifically?
I think it just shows you that we're from the top, the NA, our academy, the NA through way down to our youth, we're invested in developing and getting everybody ready for that next level. It's really good that we could host all those events and have all those scouts and everything in the building. It shows that, like I said, it shows that we are invested in the development model in each rung of the ladder, so to speak.
And with the NA team obviously being in the same building, what kind of benefits do you think that provides your players being around the next level, all the time?
I think it's an exposure. We talk about the exposure all the time, and I think it's just huge with the exposure. The way we have it set up, we actually practice before the NA team goes on. So they watch our practices. All the home games are set up, obviously. They watch all our home games. So they have a real good thing of what's going on with all the players. And Coach Robichaux and I, our desks are side by side in the office, and we talk a lot about players all throughout the season of who might be ready, who should, who's on the radar, who should be looking at, stuff like that.
Mhm. And, different players thrive in different environments. What kind of players do you think succeed most within the Mountain Kings organization?
I think from top to bottom, we're all just blue collar, hardworking guys. Starts right from ownership, the four owners to our GM to Coach Robichaux, to me, right down the academy coaches. Everybody's invested and everybody works hard. So I really think a blue collar style player who wants to put the work in and day out is the one that's going to succeed in our systems and our culture.
And as we flip forward to the 25-26 season, what do you think is your biggest goal, whether that's making it back to the playoffs, continuing player advancement? What's kind of the biggest thing that sticks out to you for this upcoming year?
Well, it's kind of all the above. We want to make it back to the playoffs again. And then we just would like to go a little bit deeper. And then obviously once you get deeper, and if you get by that first round, you get into that division final with the grace of God and with some luck on your side, you make it to championship weekend in St. Louis at the Fraser Cup. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what we're shooting for. That's always the goal every year. And I just at some point in time, I really want to make sure our kids get to experience that.
And what do you think is the biggest area of focus for your team in order to achieve those goals?
I think we just got to show up every day and everybody has to buy in. We have to get the new players that are coming in to buy into the culture. And then we also have to have our vets that are coming back that is also pushing our culture as well. That's the one thing I can say is we've got a good group of veterans coming back, and we also got a real good group of younger players coming in that I'm real excited to see how they all mesh and how they all gel together and where the journey takes us.
And going off of veteran players, are there any specific players that stick out in your mind as someone who might take on a bigger role than they had last year?
Yeah, I'm looking for, I just found out last week that Noah Levesque was going to be coming back. So I'm excited for him to come back and really have an age out season so we can move him on. Obviously, unfortunately, with the NA3 Generals, not in the league this year. So I've got a couple of the Northeast Generals from last year that are coming over as well. I'm going to be looking for their leadership to really solidify the locker room and really make it like the locker room we need it to be to go far and deep in the playoffs like we want to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us your insight today, and good luck this upcoming year.
Thank you, Brett. It's always a pleasure.